Okay, I think I've got some. Yep, got the got some audio now, and I'm over here at the office here in Bailey, as I said I would be each and every evening on Monday nights, here to answer questions or try to provide some help. And I am starting a little bit early, so if you want, you can certainly pop in, and then back, and then of course pause and go back to the end of it at the beginning. So that's the advantages of having the recording here. Tonight you've got a couple of three things due. You've got the decision materials at the supplemental website, and then an exam on the case analysis that's on Management 4903 and Davenport Chapter 1. Here are the instructions. In fact, I'll give you some instructions in terms of the Word file, okay? And it's in the file in the MS. And then I also had, as I had said before, over here in the supplemental website, and I had mentioned this a few times before, I'll find the supplemental website right here. Here it is. And document over here. It's called Key Materials and Concepts. I went through this. And then that has the material that you need to answer the questions for exam number 1. And I went over that, and I record these videos, so it's been there, okay? And I'm not sure at this point what else I could do. And you've had this in advance, and I got one email today from somebody at 3:30 in the afternoon, which I think is kind of pushing it pretty hard when you've had this exam sitting here for weeks. And I want to say this also looked at the CAPSIM performance today, and looked at how everybody did on the practice rounds. And so that's why I'm here, of course, each evening. And I'd say I'm going to compare both of them. Week 1, and this is practice, of course, I understand that. Week 1 versus week 2. Andrews, you did very well. Andrews almost doubled their performance level. Baldwin made a tremendous, tripled, almost quadrupled their score. Chester remained kind of flat. Digby, you took a hit. You almost did half of what you did in percentile terms of last week. So I see things evening out, and I see some people learning and doing well. And that's improvement issues, and that's very good. I'd say to Chester, who was at 65 last week, 63 this week in terms of the percentiles on the balanced scorecard. Well done. Well done for all of you who've come up and you've improved your scores. So that's quite good news to me. I'm looking forward to seeing even more improvements. So that's very, very good. And once the exam period is over tonight, I'm going to go over the answers. And I have a key, so I'll pop in over here. And I have the key in a PDF form. And I will, so I'm going to have to step out for a minute. font. So I'll be right back. Meanwhile, I'm still here at the office. I'll be here until I feel like I'm not going to see anybody show. Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to pop over here, and I'm going to send everybody an email. Let me move this thing out of the way. I can put it right in here. I can write my email, and I'll select the the course. This is policy. And okay, and I'm going to send this, let everybody know. And I'll probably even stop over there and see if there's anybody. Hey, I've got someone. Hello there. Hi, Jessica. I'm over here in my office at school. In fact, I was getting ready to send everybody an email. So do you have a question or anything I could help you with? Okay. If you're over in the lab or something, you guys are what? Oh, okay. I see. It looks like you might have a mic. And if you have a question, what would it be? Okay. Well, I know you're there, and I'm getting ready to send everybody a message. So. I'm sending out to let everybody know what's going on, where I'm at, as well as to congratulate Team Andrews and Team Baldwin for their good and excellent job and they're improving their week 2 team practice round 2. And I'll learn how to spell balance here. All right, there, I'm just got that done. And now let's go back over here. And what I intend to do here is to once everything is finished, in other words, when we get past 6 o'clock, what I intend to do, and of course I'm here in my office in BBC 236, I will go over the exam 1 key and then I'll start doing some grading tomorrow, and we'll see how everybody did. I had a couple of people email me that seemed confused about on what to do, and I remember, as I go back over here into the announcements, and here's the stay on track. And I think I also had spoken about this in live class session. Of course, I'm here tonight on my virtual office hours, so I'm here recording, and I've gone over what everybody needed to do. So I'm going to go over here to the files area once we hit 6 o'clock. And I see Jessica is here. Jessica, do you have any questions I could try to help you with? Any questions? Now, I'm not sure. You may not have a. You have a microphone, Jessica? Oh, okay, probably not. Oh, okay. All right, good. I got that. Yeah. That's all right. If you're not sure how to turn it on, just leave it be. I'm going to pop over, everybody. Okay. I think I hear you.
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay.
Did you have a question I could help you with?
No, I wasn't sure if we had a class tonight.
Well, as I said before, when the groups meet is up to them. Now, what I do is I'm here, and I'm here till 7:30 or 8 o'clock, depending upon if I have any traffic. Now, I'm over here in my office today tonight at BBC 236, and then I'm also online. So if someone's remote and they have a question, they can beam in and ask me, or if they're here, they can come by the office. But yeah, I mean, class is a class at this stage of the game. Everybody's should be working on a simulation. So you have your assignments that are due, and that'll need to be taken care of. And then, of course, you have the simulation. And so, as I had said, it's up to each team whether or not I see Josie. Glad to see you here as well. It's up to each team to decide whether or not they want to meet during this time or whatever time is convenient for them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, but I'm here at Bailey BBC till I probably be here till about 8 o'clock. I intend here in a little bit, once we get past 6 o'clock, to go over the answers for exam number 1. And I'm glad to see you here as well, Joe Sue. I'll unmute you. Do you have any questions you may have?
Their earnings per share were pretty decent. $5.47.
Joe Sue, do you have any questions?
Second to Chester. Chester was 770, but everybody else was low fours. Low fours. Mid fours. I looked around. And then Baldwin was 145.
Okay, I'll mute you guys up, I guess. All right. And I see Brandon. And Brandon, it looks like to me you may not have looks like to me you don't have a microphone. And if you have a question, you can certainly send me a text message. Like I said, I'm over here. I'm here at the office. If people have questions, what they might choose to, if they have that need. I see 3 of us so far. Oh, that's good. There's Brandon. Brandon, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And if you don't have a mic, you can shoot me a chat. It doesn't show up; it's private. Yeah, I see it and you see it, but no one else does.
He's talking. He's not doing anything yet. He's not saying anything yet. See if I can hear me. No, I'm unmuted now. Hello? Hey guys. I'll be teaching the class today.
All righty, I'm back. I stepped across the hall to see if there's anybody. I saw someone in there. Anybody have a question? I was hearing some voices here just a minute ago. And let's see. I see Mr. Yarborough. I see Brandon, Josu, Jessica, Houston. Anybody else? Anyone have a question I can help you with?
I think we're pretty good.
Okay, great. Okay. Well,
Yeah, you got to.
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute everybody so I don't hear dogs barking and all that. And I'm going to go over the exam. So the exam number 1, just go through the process. I talked about this in class, and we'll start with just where the materials were. And we had over in the modules, and I had gone through this to get, in fact, I'll just show you the announcements, everybody. I talked about it in class, and I also had a screencast, a stay on track. And I talked about, getting how to handle and work with the upcoming CAPSIM exam, with CAPSIM and the upcoming exams. That's been, and then during class, I spoke about how to access everything. So the first thing was to go over to the modules area and then go to the supplemental website, okay? And we'll pop over there. Here it is, and that's the, I'll find here just a second. There it is. Now, once you were over here, as I'd mentioned before, pop that open. Go down here to a thing called the Key Concepts and Materials document. And it's right here. Key materials and key concepts and materials overview. And I'm just going to put it into, I'm going to download it. And this had everything, all of the PowerPoint presentations, the PDFs, the materials, Word doc, all of that stuff was outlined right here for everybody in terms of what was covered by that exam. All of this stuff, this is what was used. And I at least 2 or 3 times had gone over this. So everybody should have been on top of that. I'll close this off for a moment and we'll scroll back. And then he had, of course, all those materials that were over here. Things like the introduction to decision theory. Okay, that's one of them. There were some other yeah, there were some other documents over here. Well, I have a whole list of them there that I showed you that you're going to need here's the rational choice links, and you're going to need those to answer those questions. So I'm trying. I don't know what else I could do in terms of that. Now, the exam itself, and we'll go over there. Okay. And I'm going to go back to the exam. It was over here, of course, and it is here in terms of here are the instructions. There's a Word document, a file over in Canvas. So I'd shown you where to go get the key materials and concepts document that you needed, and of course that stuff was at the supplemental website. And then you had to go in the files section of the. You had to go into the files section here to get exam 1. Okay, and it was just simply a matter of downloading, the exam. And let's take a look at it. Here's exam 1. I'll download it. Okay. Now this was just the raw one. This is not the one that I had created for everybody. I created one that had places for you to put your answers. I'm going to find that one. Yeah, I think this is the one. Or there was a PDF here as well. This may be the one. Yeah, this is the one where I gave you each question, then a place to answer. Put your answer. And all you had to do is download this, put in your answer, save it, and upload it. Now, let me go over the key, and I'm going to do that. I'll download it. Okay. Now, as I mentioned here, I'll move this up just a minute. The key is, and there's the materials. I've made some notes to myself here with the key materials, key concepts, key materials, key concepts and materials overview document. There are 41 items in here. It's worth 80 points, so I gave you a couple of extra points. I'll go through it. The first question, the underlying theorem for decision theory is the binomial coefficient. That's over there in that PowerPoint resolution of ambiguity. Okay. Now, the second one, the second one is the Q. You've seen me do that in class many times, and the Q is it's C is the correct answer there. What alternative to choose? Okay, and that is based on known and unknown conditions versus known and unknown ways to alleviate those conditions or options, alternative ways to address the issues. Now, the next equation is the binomial coefficient. Okay, and when I've got number 1 marked, that's from that decision-making resolution of ambiguity materials. Question number 4. Well, here it is. It's 28. And I walked you through how to do that in Kenny. It's over there in that number 1, the decision-making and resolution of ambiguity. Then the same type of question on number 5. It was 126. And you're just dividing it. You're just dividing it by the. You're starting at 876,543. Okay. And you had 6 stocks, 876, 543, and then 6 with the exclamation, which is equals 720, and there you go. Same thing here. And then classic game theory, this is a question, what it assumes, A and B. That's what classic game theory assumes. So the correct answer at number 6 is A and B. The number 7, the correct answer is A and B. And again, I'm giving you the source of where it came from. Number 8, kind of changed gears. Probability and likelihood are equivalent from a mathematical standpoint, but not from a practical standpoint. If you go take a look at that PowerPoint on likelihood, you're going to notice where they talk about discovery wells, okay, versus the remaining wells. So if they hit oil in one place, that discovery well, typically there will be oil, there'll be more oil, there will be other oil wells. So probability and likelihood are not, they're equivalent only from a mathematical standpoint. And that's from that likelihood PowerPoint on decision-making parameters. Then I talked about the Gaussian distribution, that's standard deviations, and that 60% of all the observations will fall within them, and that's from the decision-making parameters, that resource. 8 up here is from the likelihood PowerPoint. And then I gave you an example with Flint LLC, and the correct answer there, it's a gross overestimate, and it's overly optimistic. And that the average net cash flow is $1 billion. The standard deviation is 100 million. Then we can expect that an estimate of $2 billion is potentially a gross overestimate and overly optimistic, just based on what we have in terms of the numbers. So on number 2, the correct answer was C. On number 11, the correct answer is C. Okay. We assume a standard deviation of 300 million. Of course, what that means is, we have the average, as we saw above, is 1 billion. So one standard deviation above the mean is going to be 1.3 million, and one standard deviation below the mean is going to be, well, it's going to be 1 billion minus 300 million. Okay, so I mean, there you go. Now, you've got question number 12. A Poisson distribution is better suited to situations involving discrete events such as at times and a retail outlet. And that's from that resource number 2 that I'd indicated before. Okay, so Poisson, the Poisson distribution assumes discrete events at a retail outlet, like a grocery store, like a restaurant. Then the binomial, and we're talking about which of these distributions tend to fit best. A binomial is better suited to those involving continuous events such as growth of a viral marketing network. Now, if any of you are taking or have taken management science with me, you know that when we do the optimization, we walk through the process of saying, okay, is this a simplex LP? In other words, is it simply an XY kind of relationship? Or are we talking about something that's nonlinear, or even what we'll call evolutionary? And so, when you understand these distributions, then you understand how they pattern themselves out in a business. So number 12 is A. 13 is A. Number 14, a 2-player game theory decision space resembles a matrix. It's a 2-player game, and that's from resource number 2. Then, as you see, I marked out what would be 15. An in-player game, that's more than 2, decision space resembles a triangle. And I gave you the triangle, okay? And they show the triangle. So if A and B together can get a better deal than B and C together, then A and B will work together. If B and C can work together, can get a better deal working together, they'll do that, and they'll cut out A. Or if A and C can work together better, then they would cut out B, okay? But the in-player game resembles a triangle. Now, this is from the slideshow on effective from the National Endowment for Health, the NIH effective decision making, and according to them, they give the key decision elements, and they list them right there. And so for 16, it's all of them. Number 17, okay. This is the overconfidence in judgment. Short-sighted shortcuts involve the following key decision element, and that's gathering intelligence. Then 18, the correct answer there is coming to conclusions, excuse me. And then 19, that is gathering intelligence. False memories and confirmation bias. And that's a really, you want to understand decision making. That NIH those NIH materials are quite good. And then this is from the Beyond the Realist model. Which of the following is not an essential element of a realist model of decision making? They're all involved, and that's why the correct answer on number 20 is E. They are all involved. Identification options, an accurate estimate of costs and benefits of the options, and resisting premature cognitive closure, and tolerating ambiguity. Okay, and you know, we saw a good example of this when the president went into the United Nations, gave a speech, okay, and or he tweeted or somewhere, and I don't know the exact detail. I'd have to go back and look. But he basically said North Korea will not be around much longer. What he didn't understand is in their heads, as crazy as those people are, they have now premature cognitive closure. In other words, that's why they've said if an American plane is even flying in the air, even if it's outside in international airspace, they're going to shoot it down. Okay, because they're engaged now in premature cognitive closure. And this is where, yeah. So this is they're not identifying their options. They're not getting an accurate estimate of the costs, and they didn't resist cognitive closure, and they can't tolerate the ambiguity. When the United States has continued to say North Korea, we're not after a regime change. We just don't want you throwing missiles around and building atomic bombs. In their mind, they believe this is the only thing they have to bargain with. Number 21. Here it is in the space below to depict the curvilinear relationship between performance and stress that's induced by a crisis. And you'll notice that when a crisis occurs, the performance goes up there. You'll notice that. But then what happens? As stress increases, performance starts to go down. And the longer a crisis goes on, the lower the the lower the performance goes, and that makes tons of sense because during a crisis you tend to function on adrenaline, you whole kinds of physiological changes as well as just the mental changes. So there is. So you want to have, too little stress is not enough. Too much stress is too much. And you can see here's on the continuum of stress. And this is somewhat of an optimal level because your performance is peaking right here. This is also from the Beyond the Realist slideshow, and crisis includes all three of those: an unanticipated threat, a restricted time frame, a high degree of uncertainty. All three of those, okay, are what people see as a crisis. Okay, now that's number 22. Number 23. Beyond the Realist, a crisis involves the following: an acceleration of perception of time driven by the complexity and importance of a task. Stop and think about that for a minute. When you hit crisis mode, okay, you feel like, wow, I got to solve this now. Got to deal with it now. And that's driven by the complexity and the importance of the task. So if you're in the house and the fire alarm goes off, okay, for most people, the decision is not where do I exit? The first decision for most people is, what do I take with me? Then you have a crisis, because many times people will stay too long and they'll die of smoke inhalation because they wouldn't just get out when they could have left. I think this is the same thing that happens to these folks that get caught, unfortunately, in hurricanes. It gets worse than they thought it would be, and then they can't get out. Okay, so crisis. That's that from that slideshow. Groupthink. When does groupthink manifest itself? F. All of the above. All of the above. And then here's an interesting point. Most organizations are built into their missions. So on number 25, it's A. They are built into their missions. And then on 26, the two general hypotheses, that's A and B. Decision makers tend to see the behavior of others as more centralized, disciplined and coordinated and controlled than it is. And decision makers tend to believe that their intentions are easily and accurately perceived. Okay. So 26, it's A and B. 27, that's from business and from a source 5, business intelligence and analytics. And 27 is A, access and reporting that feeds into analytics. And 28, the highest order BI and analytics activity is optimization. This is, and then we have this from Babson's summary. And select the one that does not belong to firms that that compete on analytics. In fact, as I say on 29, excuse me, this is a tricky question. They all belong. On number 30, it's E, all three. Okay. High quality data, capable technology environment, and quantitative expertise. D was only A and B, which is not accurate. F is not accurate. The best answer, the correct answer is all three. E. That's number 30. On 31, it's all of the above. This is from the Babson report. Now, if you thought you could come in at 4 o'clock or 4:30 and take this in, if you could and do fine, good for you. I hope that was the case. There may be of some of us who waited till the last minute are finding out we didn't do so well. I'll know because I'm going to be grading these and taking a look at them. And you should know this. Once I open the key and I go through the answers, we're done. 31. There's 32. And it's A. A payout table is a listing of all possible combinations of decision alternatives and states of nature. And that's out of that Intro to Decision Theory PowerPoint. Okay? So that's 33 is A. 32 is A, pardon me. 33 is true. The expected value for each decision is also known as the expected monetary value. Typically, the expected payoff or the expected monetary value. That's the expected value for each decision. And that is for number 33. It's true. It's from that Intro to Decision Theory. That's why I've got this 7 here. Number 34, okay. The following payoff table was developed. Let PS1, the probability of S1 is 0.7, the probability of S2 is 0.2, and the probability of S3 is 0.1. And they all have to add up to 1. So 0.7, 0.2, and 0.3, 0.1 give you 1.00. Compute the expected monetary value for each of the alternative. And soon the figures are in thousands. Show your work. Here's the expected monetary value for A1. Okay. And then for A3, for AV, A2, and there's the payoff table. Okay, I'd ask you to show your work. So I've got it right here. Okay, now, number 35. For a range of alternatives, the sum of the expected probability should equal 1.00. That ought to be easy. On 36, the base case or scenario or state of nature was scenario 1 because it's 0.70. It's the largest expected, the probability for it's the largest. So we call that the base case. And then the least likely case is state of nature 3, is at 0.1. On 38, consider the alternatives presented in number 34. Identify the opportunity, loss, or regret for the S1 scenario. So the S1 scenario, and okay, the best you can do right now is 180. So if we're computing regret, we're going to take 180 less 100 up here, which gives us 80. We're going to take 180, okay, minus 180, and that gives us 100, and that's 180 minus 180. And so there it is. 180 minus 100 equals 80. 180 minus 80 equals 100, and 180 minus 180 is a 0. So our opportunity, loss, or regret for that scenario, okay, is 180. Now, if we take the expected opportunity, and I've got that underlined here in question number 3. What do we expect? They're talking about attaching the probabilities to each of those raw outcomes. 0.7, 0.2, 0.1. This is on the S1 scenario. Okay, don't get that confused. Don't get the scenario confused with the alternatives. Okay, now we'll come down here to number 40, and the answer is A, B, and C. Maxi-min strategy maximizes the minimum gain. That's pessimistic. I'll take what I can get. The maxi-max strategy maximizes the maximum gain, or optimistic. And then mini-max regret says I'm going to minimize the maximum opportunity loss. In other words, I'm going to hedge my bets and try to minimize my losses. And then number 41, considering the alternatives presented, identify the alternative that you would choose if you're following a maxi-max strategy, and that's A3. Okay, you say, where did you come up with that? Well, let's look at the alternative. Now, this is an alternative, not a scenario. The alternatives are horizontal. The scenarios are vertical. And A3, okay, that's a maximum. In other words, I'm assuming the best case in each scenario. So for that final one, it would be A3. And then I give you here in the key the 8 sources that I used, and this is from that key materials and key concepts and materials overview. So all I'll be doing tomorrow is going through these and taking a look at them, and then I'll be posting some grades and seeing how everybody did. If I can get to it tomorrow, I will. I've got some screencasts and office hours and other things. If not, what I'll do is I'll post a score by Friday or Saturday at the very latest, which is, you usually get the feedback anyway pretty fast, so you won't die. All right, so that's the key. And let's see, I mean, I close this up. I said, now this anybody who's joined us, and I see Zach, I see Brandon. Oh, we got quite a few of us here. So that's it as far as the key and what I intended to do. Now, let me say this. I first of all, and I'm sitting here, of course, as I told you, I'd be over in my office here at Bailey every evening till 7:30, 8:30, whatever works. And that doesn't mean you have to be here at that time. If your group wants to meet at another time, that's fine. That's up to you. I'm here, and I'm going to do a screencast each night. And what I'm probably going to do, what I will usually do, is debrief you somehow, or I might go over some materials, whatever. It just depends. Or I may just be here and work, and then if you have a question, you pop in and you ask me a question. But I want to take a minute and talk about the CAPSIM 1 and pardon me, practice round 1 and practice round 2. Now in practice round 1, Andrews wasn't doing so hot, but I want to tell you what, in practice round number 2, Andrews, you did very, very, very well. Yeah, you nearly doubled your balanced scorecard. So I'm real proud of you. You did quite good. Baldwin, you keep going. You popped all the way. You nearly quadrupled your balanced scorecard. Very, very good. Chester, we'll look at you. You're at 65%. You're at 63 this week. Not too bad. Pretty good. Digby, I think Digby, what happened was somebody took some market share from you because you were at 73% in terms of percentile, and now you're at 38%. So again, let me encourage you, if you don't remember, to go back and go over all of the debriefing materials that are there at CAPSIM. Go back over what I talked about in terms of using those debriefing materials. And I did a screencast. Goodness, I did a screencast last week. And each time I've done a screencast, we've talked about the debriefing piece of this, or how do I understand, and all that stuff's also at CAPSIM. Let me also say this: all publicly available data is available to you. Okay, so I want to show you something, and I'm hoping I'm going to go back over to the modules for a minute, and I'm going to scroll down here, and you are very welcome. Here's a thing called CAPSIM Help. Here's Caleb Stogner and his team that did so very, very well. Okay, and I think over in the supplemental website, I think I had another team that had done well. Now I'm going to show you something as well. I'm going to write in CAPSIM. I'm going to do a Google search, and guess what's going to come up? How to win at CAPSIM. Okay. Yeah. I mean, here's a guide to CAPSIM from Reddit. CAPSIM walkthrough. CAPSIM cheats. They think they're cheating. They really aren't. CAPSIM cheat sheet. Look, CAPSIM is a market, and like any market, okay, it has publicly traded information. And as far as I'm concerned, any of this stuff that's publicly available, you can use. Okay? And any firm, I mean, that's part of the business of a free market and market efficiency. And market efficiency really boils down to this: an understanding that the market, okay, is ultimately self-correcting because it's a fair market, because everybody has equal access to the information, which is why insider trading will get you in jail, okay? Will get you seriously fined, if not run out of the business. So again, the materials are out there. Use them, feel free to use them, and make sure that you do your industry diagnosis. Now I'm going to pop over here for a minute, okay, to CAPSIM, and I'll see if I've got any of you still left. I got quite a few of us. And again, this is recorded, so you can look at it. I'm going to check into CAPSIM. I'm going to log in. And let me move you guys out of the way here for a minute. I did my login. let's see what we got going on here. I think I did it right. Yep, I did. Okay. Now, here are the reports. All right, here's selected statistics. I can't emphasize enough to you, all right, that you do have you really do need each week to have a good fix on, you know, those ideal spots. In other words, the industry conditions. You need to have a really good fix on how everybody did. And I'm just going to I'm going to look at the industry reports here for a minute. There's the industry scoring. That's the bounce scorecard. I was talking about that earlier. Okay, and let's see. I think I want to find the reports. And I'm going to start with the Capsim Courier. Okay, and I'm going to download the PDF. And then take a look. And this may take just a little bit of time because it's a pretty good size file. Yeah, it's wow, it's 5 megabytes. So we're going to 6 megabytes. That was fast though. Nice. Okay, so we're gonna open this jewel up. Okay, and now is the time for you to start to look through. Now, what I do and what I would suggest you, what I would do if I were in your shoes is the first place I'd go is I'd skip all this stuff. And the first place I'm going to go is down here, okay? I would either start in here, okay? Well, look, the problem is you don't see yourself versus everybody else. So this is where I would start. The traditional, each segment analysis in the Courier is the first place to start. In fact, you probably ought to put a lot of your energies with the Courier right there. That's going to show you, now you can see how that perceptual map's moving, and as I told you, it has that traditional northwest to southeast drift, okay? And there we are. Now, that's up to you to blow that up and get a better. I've complained for a long time that this doesn't come out as clearly as it ought to. Then here are the top products in the perception in the traditional market. Now, here's what I see. Look at the stockouts. Okay? Lots of stockouts. So, think about that because you're leaving some money on the table. Stockouts are killers. Let's go down to the low end. Here we go again. Some more stockouts. Bunches. This is the most I've ever seen, and this does hurt you. Okay, it really does hurt you when you stock out like this. It just kills you. And the high end, here we are again. Lots of stockouts. Now I know that you're trying you're doing some price battling. And you're trying to avoid, getting dinged for having too much inventory. I understand that, okay? But this is a trend. This is this is a signal. Talk about signal and the noise. This is definitely a signal. You need to pretty this up a little bit, folks. It's giving you a beating because the stockouts mean you've lost money. Here's the size segment. Again, we've got 3 stockouts. Now this will show you the actual and potential market share in units. And this is the perceptual map for all segments at the end of the year. And you can see how it's drifting from the northwest to the southeast. Size and performance. It's exactly. I have students who go, "This isn't realistic." Yes, it is. You can take most electronic products and they fit this mold. And what are you selling? You're selling sensors, right? Okay. So here's the performance levels, your HR summaries, and your reports. But I'd say start with these, with the Capstone Courier first, by segment. Now, every group will decide what works for them. I'm going to close this off. And let's look at the other. Now, there are also the debriefings. Okay. There's the rubric debrief, the latest round, the results, the CAP, the simulation database, that one. And what I think you really want is the STAR summary. Let's click decision summaries. Let's see about that. I'll give you your official decisions. I'm looking for the STAR survey is what I want. Here it is, the STAR summary, excuse me. This is really, really, really excellent in terms of just showing you. Yeah, we're going to go back here for just a minute, and we're going to do the round analysis. This is gold, because what this will do will summarize key pieces for you in terms of what you need to do to deal with this issue. Now, I don't expect everybody to be here tonight. Everybody here didn't need to be here, because if you're smart, after I post this tonight, you'll take a look. And again, here you are. So I can't cannot emphasize this enough. And again, you know, use these tools that are here, use the information that's out there, use the experience of other people. And you know, when I look at the results, okay, now I'm talking about practice round 1 and practice round 2. And I had 1, 2 groups that came up, one that tread water and one that went down. It tells me I know two groups are doing well. Now, I'm just going to throw an idea out, okay? There's nothing that stops companies from forming strategic alliances. They're happy, yeah, they can do that. There's nothing that stops them from keeping 2 separate companies, but trying to work together as maybe as a merged firm. That doesn't mean I can eliminate a team. I can't do that. But you do have some strategic. You do have the ability to form some strategic partnerships, and I wouldn't throw that out the window. Now, I might try it in the practice round to see how it works. So, you know, hey, think outside the box just a little bit. And if it would mean that each of you would end up doing well, well, okay. But, you know, that's up to you. But just throwing it out there as an idea to try in the practice rounds. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm going to log out because I think you have more than enough work to do, as much less hear me barking at you. I'm logging out of the CAP sim, excuse me. And I'm going to go back over here to the course, to the modules. And let's see what we got going on next week. Exam 2 is due tonight, as was Davenport Chapter 1. And we've gone over the exam on the decision theories. Now I want to see how many of you actually turned something in. Do the speed grader. Let me pop the grades for a minute and I'll see. And then I'll close it back off. Look at the default grade book. Let's see how many of us turned in something. Ah, very good. Everybody got in the act. Very good. Okay. All right, that's wonderful. Excellent. Good job, folks. All righty. Let's keep going on over here. We'll get out of that area. Good. Good, good, good. I hope you all did very well. It's good to see you turn a thing in. All right, now here's a story. I think you have a picture of how things are going to work each week. Here's the week of 10-2. Okay, and this, as I say, team time. There are no assignments due the week of the 2nd. Okay. He said, Dr. Harmon, why'd you do it? Well, it's pretty simple. You have a couple of practice rounds under your belt now. And now, okay, I've got you in a position to really go to work. So if you don't have these readings and junk to do and tests to work with, then you can have then you have more time to work on your practice round. Okay, and this is practice round number 3, and it starts on the 2nd and it ends. I've got it ends on the 2nd, and then practice round 4 begins on the 2nd, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So you've got practice round number 3 started this morning. It closes on the 2nd at 5 a.m. and then practice round 4. So you have a whole week there, that week of the 2nd, where you don't have to turn in anything. And I did that on purpose, okay, to give you time to kind of take a deep breath and get back, because we'll be coming into the competition rounds pretty soon, okay? Now, let's pop back over here for just a second. We'll take a look some more. Now, on the 9th, all right, you've got a self-developed quiz that's due. Okay, that's from reading on page 18 of Parnell. There's a self-developed quiz. Okay, that's not that big of a deal, and don't make it that big of a deal. Now, on the 16th, okay, you have your faith integration exercise. Okay, and you'll see there's the faith integration response form. All right, and then a place to upload your faith integration essay. And we have to do this for assessment purposes. Okay, so that'll be the 16th of October, and you do get points for participating, for doing that. And then we come out to October 23rd, and we have the Peregrine. I don't know if we're going to use Peregrine this year, or we're going to go back and use the ETS and the I don't know. That's going to be up to the dean. That's his call. But we will have an assessment night, and on that night, on the 23rd, if you pass the word, the 23rd is a night you need to be here. You're going to do the senior survey, and if we do Peregrine, you'll do it, and that's what you'll have to do that week. Plus, you'll have, of course, the CAP sim will be going on. But we are going to be either using the educational testing service or Peregrine. I don't know. I'm going to have to get with the dean and find out what he's going to do. And so we'll have done those 2 weeks there on the 16th, and on the 23rd of October, you will have done you'll have done all the assessment we're going to do in this class. There's a senior survey as well, that kind of thing. All righty, I'm just going to come back over here into the home area, and pop it up, and now I'm in wait and see mode to see if somebody has any questions. If you do, if you don't have a microphone, or you're reluctant to ask it where everybody will hear it, you can do the chat function. And the chat function, here's what happens. I see it and you see it, but nobody else does. It's meant to be a private channel. So if you have to ask me a question about something that we shouldn't, that you don't want everybody to see, or you might, why did I do so bad on the test or whatever, I can help you with that. So it's we're getting up to the 7 o'clock hour, and I see I've got a bunch of you on here. 8 of us, including me. Frankie, thank you so much. You got Houston, Jessica, so Sue, Kenzie, Mr. Yarborough, Zach, and Brandon. We got quite a rogues crew here. And I looked over a while ago, and I saw somebody over in the lab that appeared to be working on the CAP sim. I don't know who. I just saw it look like, and I just got a quick glance. So I don't know which one of you were over there. I just saw the CAP sim up on the screen, and I came back in here. So I'm here if you have any questions I could try to help you with. and we'll go from there. Like I said, I have to hand grade tonight's this decision thing. I have to hand grade it, so that's going to take me a little bit of time. Probably Friday or Saturday by the time I have it done. So if you folks are communicating with each other, and if you want me to, I can try to set up a discussion board for you. Or I think you appear to be working together okay. I assume you probably work together through email and then meeting. So if you're meeting or working tonight, good. I'll be here, and again, if you have a question, I'm happy to help out. Let me also give you a little side of beef. Kind of, I send out. Let me show you something, because you're all seniors, you ought to get this. Let me post this up. Oh, let me find this here. Let me go back to my meetings. Okay, and I'm going to show you my upcoming meetings. It should give me all right, now look, tomorrow I have virtual office hours from 10 a.m. to noon. Now, you can come in and you can ask me a question. I can answer it. You can see my screen. I can get to DegreeWorks, or I can get to Banner, or anything like that that you need. I can help you out. So if you go, oh, he's not in the office. Yes, I'm in the office. I may not be in the office here in Shawnee, but I'm in my office in Oklahoma City, and I can help you out just as well as I can here. So I have a class, and then I have again on Tuesday from 3:30 to 5 o'clock, another hour and a half of office hours. Okay. And then 6 to 9 tomorrow night, I had the graduate class. Wednesday, I have a class. That's the management science. Wednesday, I've got, that's the virtual session for MIS. And then I have office hours from 4 to 6. Okay. And then Thursdays, Mondays and Thursdays, I'm here. So, I'm looking by my count. I'm running somewhere between 15 and 20 office hours a week. And, of course, you can always send me an email, and I will answer it. Okay. But, again, I'm available, folks. And so make use of the, just like you use email. Look, I know you guys all FaceTime each other, you Skype each other, you do Facebook Lives, all that. I know all that. So what's the difference? And what really surprises me is I've had not that many people use the virtual office hours. So I've got it there, and I'm ready to I'm ready to answer questions. Okay? Now, I'm not crying in my beer here, folks, but hey, and my hunch is if if you had a question, I could probably answer it a lot better if you pop me a question during virtual office hours and just send me an email. Or what I hate worse than anything is, I came to my office and you weren't there. Oh, give me a break. Hey, I'm as accessible as I could possibly be. And some of you, if you know this, I have sent you emails in reply at 1, 2, and 4, and 5 in the morning. Okay, so I'm there and try to have your back for you. That's the end of the sermon. I should take up a collection, and I see there's 8 now. So I've drove off a couple of people, or at least one of them. Somebody left; they couldn't take it. You're not bound to be here. You're not bound to remain checked in. That's up to you. If you're working, fantastic. I'm here to answer questions. I will probably shut this off about probably 8 o'clock, 7:30 or 8, something like that. Okay, I'm still here, and I see some of us have cleared out. A couple of us, though, left. Oh, no questions so far, so I will put myself back on mute here as I wait for anybody who has any questions tonight. And what I'm going to do here for just a moment, probably check my email. So I'll be pausing the share on this, and then I'll restart it in here in just a minute. And I'm back off of the mute, so we're back to status quo. And I'll put it back on, the mute back on. And if I see a question, we'll be good. Okay, it's about 7:15 or so, and I'm still here. I see Houston is still here as well. The rest of all taken off. And of course, you'll be able to see this once this screencast is over, which right now is pretty quiet. I've done my spiel for the evening, and I'm waiting for anybody that might have questions. I'll record it and post it tonight. And I covered everybody where we are and what's going on, and how you are doing. Of course, emails are always accepted. And like I said before, everybody, I will be grading those exams. I have to do those by hand, and that's probably going to take me several days to get it all done. Maybe sooner. I'll just have to see. Okay? I've seen excellent improvement, and I can't emphasize it enough, in two teams who have really just stepped up their game. And just keep it up. Keep going. You're doing very well. And then Chester, you're at 63%, and not bad. Keep it up. Keep going. And Digby, same for you. You need to pick up the pace a little bit, and you're going to do that through doing the kind of work that I know all of you are capable of doing. Okay. So I'm going to be on here. I'm going to stay on here another 10 or 15 minutes or so, which would be about 7:30. And at that point, if I don't have any other questions or anybody else join us, I'm going to shut this thing down. So I do appreciate your hard work, and I'll be anxious to see how everybody did on the other two exams. I hope you did well. The case analysis exam, I hope it was an eye-opener for you. I hope it got you thinking about, gee, how do we actually do a case study? And that's why I included it, so you get some coaching on how to actually do a case study. Yeah, business schools are famous for case studies, but frankly, most of them don't know how to do it, not the right way. And that's what we focused on for you tonight. And that's why I gave you that exam out of the Parnell text. And then, of course, the other exam, and the Davenport, which is competing on analytics. Oh, keep up the good work. You are making progress, and I can see it. When I see teams that do this well as they make the rebound, it's very encouraging to me, because it tells me you are starting. You're starting to get it. I better unmute that so you don't have to Okay, well, it's about 7:30, and everybody is gone now, and I guess I've answered whatever questions people had. I'm it, and as I said, was here tonight for everybody. So, I'll be here in the evenings and on Monday nights. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'll be working on the exam ones, getting them graded. Hopefully, I can get them graded. Probably be Friday or Saturday by the time I'm finished, because I got a whole bunch of other grading to do. But continue your good work. Andrews, Baldwin, you're doing well. Chester, you step it up. And Digby, you too. But again, everybody, I'll be interested to see how you did on the other exams as well. I'll post those as well. And you've already seen those scores. Okay? So have a good one. Thanks for your good hard work. I know you're really putting in some time. I can see that from the analytics here on the website and the analytics over at CapSim. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. And I'm going to stop the share and stop the recording, and we'll do it.